This video is brought to you by patreon.com/worsttake. Get access to exclusive live streams and Discord servers, on-screen shoutouts, and early access to some videos when you join now. Help make sure that we can continue to make content like this by supporting the Patreon. Links are in the description down below. Hey, what's up and welcome to QnA, the show where I take your questions and answer them here in video format. Okay, so the first thing a lot of people want me to talk about, and I kind of understand it in some ways, is Perion Winfrey, because I guess when you think of Perion Winfrey, you think of me being excited about him as a football prospect last year. And I get that, but also like, this is kind of weird that y'all wanted me to drop a video, independent video on this, because right now, Perion Winfrey has been charged with misdemeanor assault against a woman in Houston. And that situation is still ongoing. It is alleged that he grabbed and pulled this woman, causing bodily harm on Monday. This is not to the point to where I'm going to comment on it or have a comment on it. And honestly, this is beyond football at this point for Perion Winfrey. His career has not gotten off to the best start. We know he's talented. When he's been on the field, he's a talented football player. Everybody can see it, including me, that he's a talented football player. But he clearly has some things that he's battling off the field. And that's really all I have to say on that for now. Again, would love if he wasn't charged with anything, obviously, but the fact that he has been charged of a misdemeanor assault, you're going to have to let that process play out. The Browns are going to have to let that process play out, and we'll see what the future for Perion Winfrey is after that situation's handled. There's no speculating in between, though. If that's what you wanted me to do, is to speculate on his roster status or how this is going to affect the team. This is a real situation. There's an actual victim in this situation. Hopefully nobody got seriously harmed. Hopefully this is something that could be resolved. And hopefully both parties can come away from this better than what people are going to assume at this point. But I don't see any reason to have any more extended commentary on Perion's situation. And I honestly don't even think it changes the Browns draft strategy or it changes the Browns free agent strategy, because they were going into the season hoping for things for Perion Winfrey. And I don't think that they were going into the season relying on things on Perion Winfrey. So they had backup plans just in case. That's why they signed Maurice Hurst. That's why they signed a bunch of other defensive tackles. So again, that's my whole thing on the Perion thing. We'll wait for more to come out about that, and we'll let that situation play itself out. No reason to have a hot take on the justice system at this point, when my job is to talk sports right now. That's just not what I'm doing. All right. So Greg Parkins says, hey, Q, what's your opinion on the Browns' biggest need at this point in the offseason, right around the corner from the draft? I still think it's along the defensive line. Like, until you have more bodies than you need over there, you don't have enough. I would always advocate for having more defensive linemen. I think also offensive line, you're going to want to build some depth there. I don't really think you're going to be able to get a ton of starters, but you can get a lot of bodies there. Maybe a starter comes from the bodies that you draft. I don't think specifically any immediate needs that this team has right now that those are going to be filled in the draft. I think you might get a role player. You might get a backup, but I don't think anybody immediately in year one who's going to be playing a serious role, a needed role on this team, is going to be through the draft. Maybe a slot corner. But other than that, I really don't see it. The next question comes from Zach, who says, hey, Q, is it just me, or do you think James Hudson will be solid for us? I would definitely like to see him get a shot if someone goes down. From what I remember, he dramatically improved since we got him. I mean, yeah, but Gonna be honest with you, that Jack Conklin re-sign at the money they did it with was a staggering indictment on James Hudson, to be honest with you. Like, I find it hard to believe that they feel that way about him, because if they did, they probably wouldn't have gone out their way in that fashion to get or keep their right tackle where he's going to be playing. I know people have dreams of James Hudson flipping to the left side and replacing Jedrick Wills, and like, that's just not happening. He's not his ceiling looks like right tackle, not left tackle, in my opinion. Now again, it's just my opinion. He can go out there and break that. But if they were grooming him for left tackle, they would have felt comfortable enough to let him play right tackle once Jack's contract expired. So nothing about how the Browns have operated, and again, you got to follow the money in situations like these. Nothing about how the Browns have operated has indicated to me that they feel so great about James Hudson that he's going to be a starter on either side of the offensive line within the next year. That could be wrong. He could improve greatly in the offseason. All of that would be welcome, but that's just what I'm reading. Well, that's what I can see from the tea leaves right now. Garrett Kirkwood says, Q, if the Browns had missed out on Deshaun Watson, would you be pushing for the Browns to put a DW deal for Lamar? Thank you for the content. Have a good day. Absolutely. Absolutely. Like, the money, we get so obsessed with money we're not paying about these quarterbacks. And the fact of the matter is, the NFL is a league of haves and have-nots. Either you have a quarterback or you don't have a quarterback. That's it. With very few exceptions, that's been what dictates who gets to be at the top of the league. So if it's a league of have or have-nots, and the resource that you must have is a quarterback, and one is available, you got to put down whatever you got to put down to get that guy. So yes, like, so much of this hand-wringing and crying about how much an elite quarterback is getting paid sounds so dumb to me, because you would rather have, again, maybe it's just my opinion, but I feel like most of us at home would rather pay Deshaun Watson $45 million or $50 million than be out here trying to run Cody Kessler out here for $2 million. Like, would you rather have Cody Kessler right now? Do you want to go back to Deshaun Kaiser? We can get Deshaun Kaiser. At this point, he would pay the Browns to play quarterback. We can get Deshaun Kaiser. Y'all want him back? Let's go get Deshaun Kaiser. Right? The money that you pay a quarterback is less relevant than the fact that you do or don't have a quarterback. And we get so caught up into the money that we think the money is what wins you a Super Bowl. That having a cap space is what wins you a Super Bowl. But then every free agency, we turn around and say what? Well, you can't buy a Super Bowl in free agency. Because if you don't have a quarterback, it doesn't matter. And quarterbacks usually aren't available in free agency. Absolutely, 1,000%. I would be pushing to sign Lamar Jackson. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? If we didn't have to shop, yes. If we were out here with Josh Dobbs about to start, dog, I'm spending it all on Lamar Jackson. And every team should if they're in that situation, or else they're fools. That's just my 2 cents on that. I can't believe how much hand-wringing we be doing about these quarterback contracts, as if having an elite quarterback is not what makes or break you as a franchise. We talk about Baltimore being a better team than us. We talk about Pittsburgh being a better team than us. We talk about Cincinnati being a better team than us, all since expansion. And what have they all had in common against the Browns since expansion? They've had better quarterback play. That's why they've been better than us, better ran. Because they've had consistent quarterback play. They hadn't had to transfer out all their quarterbacks. Ian with the next question says, hey, Q, what's the fixation with the slot corner position? The Browns could honestly or probably stick DeAnthony Bell at that spot and would be fine. But a lot of fans seem to be threatening the position as if it's do or die. I don't know. I think, like, again, I'm going to be fair to everybody. It's this point of the season. There's honestly not a ton of news to talk about. So we're going to fixate on small things that are kind of unresolved and talk about them as if they're life or death. The slot corner position is not a life or death position to fix. It just isn't. It's one you notice when it's really bad, but it's not one that you really care about if it's all right. And honestly, as much crying as we do about the slot corner position, we did none of this during the season. Like, this has all been an off-season conversation. During the season, we were talking about all the problems with the defense. Slot corner never came up. And that's partly because Greg Newsome does not want to play the slot anymore. But you can find somebody to play slot. They found MJ Stewart played the slot. Like, this is not the most difficult position in the world to fill. And honestly, it's a position that doesn't even see the field that much. It just doesn't make sense to be talking about this much because the effect on the game is not as much as we've talked about it this offseason. It doesn't reflect. Mr. McFly says, your last video, you talked about the slot corner position being more of a linebacker. In your opinion, who do you think will fill that spot in the upcoming season? Is the guy even on the roster? I originally thought Emerson would be the slot by default because he's a physical corner who loves contact, but I'm not sure. What do you think? So Emerson's issue with being in the slot is, one, he is a physical corner, but he is a corner. There's a difference between corners who like to be physical and corners who need to be physical. He's not one of those dudes. I don't know how well he is as a tackler. He's a good physical cover guy. He has issues if you take him deep, if you take him long. And there might be some potential for him in the slot. And he will see what last year he got about 100 snaps in the slot. He will see probably those same 100 snaps in the slot. But as far as somebody who's going to fill most of those slot role positions, that's going to be somebody who's more comfortable being on the line of scrimmage, tackling and blitzing. I don't think that's Martin Emerson's game. Again, I think Martin's going to see probably 100 snaps inside, probably 100 snaps outside, and then, maybe 50 snaps doing some other stuff on the defense. But he's probably going to have an even split of snaps and probably about 300 in total. In my opinion here, Dave says, hey, Q, every year I get pumped for my Browns and every year I fall on my face. Again, I'm getting pumped up again. Are we going to fall on their face again? Love your show. Look forward to it every day. Hey, man, that's why we do this, right? If we didn't get excited about our team, then it wouldn't be fun to do. And with excitement brings the inevitable chance of disappointment, but you wouldn't have this excitement without the chance of disappointment, right? So unless you want to stay in a world where nothing can hurt you or give you joy, you got to risk it. Yeah. Is this the year to get pumped up about the Browns? Here's where I'm at about the Browns. They have no excuse not to be good this year. They really don't. They've run out of excuses. So if they're not good, then things are going to have to change. And I don't think I'm sitting here hyping them up saying, oh, this team's going to shock the world and go 16-1 or whatever. But what I am saying is they ought to be good this year. Like, there's no reason they shouldn't. The only reason that they don't reach expectations is if they don't do what needs to be done in the building. Right? From the coaching staff to the players and everybody on down. Like that's the only way. They should be good this year. There's not really an excuse to be bad this year. Maybe something pops up during the season and we'll reevaluate. But as of right now, there's really no reason. But we'll see. That's where I'm at with them. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Y'all have a great day. Have an even better night.